Have you ever looked at the calendar and thought, wait, how is it already August? Because seriously, when you were a kid, one summer felt like it lasted approximately 400 years. You'd wake up in June, and somehow, September felt like it was never coming. Now, you blink, and suddenly it's Friday. Then it's December. Then somehow another year has disappeared. And the weirdest part? Time itself isn't actually speeding up. Your brain just starts experiencing it differently as you get older. And there's actually a pretty fascinating reason why. Let's start with something you've probably noticed. Think about your childhood. Your first day of school. Your first birthday party you actually remember. Your first trip somewhere. The first time you saw the ocean. The first time you stayed awake way too late. Those memories can feel incredibly long. But think about last Tuesday. What happened? You probably have absolutely no idea. And that's the clue. Your brain doesn't experience time like a stopwatch. It experiences time through events, attention, and memories. When you're young, almost everything is new. You're constantly learning. New people, new places, new smells, new foods, new experiences. Even something as boring as going to school can be a completely new experience when you're 6. Your brain is basically collecting information non-stop. And because there are so many new experiences happening, you create more distinct memories. That's one reason childhood can feel much longer when you look back on it. Your brain has a huge amount of information packed into those years. But as you get older, life starts becoming predictable. You wake up, check your phone, go to work or college, come home, eat, scroll, sleep, repeat, and then Monday becomes Tuesday, Tuesday becomes Wednesday, and suddenly, it's Friday again. Your brain doesn't need to pay attention to every little detail because it has seen the routine before. And that's important, because when something is familiar, your brain can process it with much less attention. Think about your route to a place you visit all the time. The first time you go there, you're probably paying attention to everything. The buildings, the roads, the turns, the signs. But after you've taken that route hundreds of times, you can arrive and realize, wait, I don't even remember half that journey. Your brain basically went into autopilot. And the same thing can happen with your life. When days are repetitive, fewer moments stand out in memory. So when you look backward, that entire period can feel like it disappeared. This is sometimes described as the holiday paradox. A new vacation can feel incredibly long while you're experiencing it. There's so much happening. New places, new food, new people, new experiences. Your attention is constantly switched on. But when you look back at the vacation later, it can feel surprisingly short. Why? Because your brain compresses familiar information. It doesn't need to store every identical moment separately. And this is where things get really interesting. There's another reason time can feel faster as we age. Our perception of a year changes depending on how much of our life that year represents. When you're 5 years old, 1 year is basically 20% of your entire life. That's huge. But when you're 50, 1 year is only 2% of your life. So psychologically, that same 12 months can feel much smaller compared with everything you've already experienced. It's not a literal mathematical rule for your brain. But it helps explain why the years can seem to shrink as you get older. And there's something else happening too. When you're young, you're usually experiencing life in chapters. Kindergarten, primary school, a new class, a new teacher, summer vacation, a new grade, a new friend group. Everything has boundaries. Your life is constantly changing. But adulthood can become much more repetitive. Same workplace, same commute, same room, same apps, same responsibilities. And when several months look almost identical, your brain doesn't create as many separate memory landmarks. So when you look back, 3 months can feel like 3 weeks. That's why some people reach the end of a year and think, wait, what did I even do this year? You probably did a lot. Your brain just didn't mark enough of those moments as memorable. And this gives us a pretty interesting way to make life feel slower. Not by actually slowing time down. Because, unfortunately, we haven't unlocked that cheat code yet. But by creating more novel experiences. Try taking a different route. Learn something you've never learned before. Visit somewhere new. Talk to someone you normally wouldn't. Try a new food. Start a new hobby. Even something small can make a day feel more distinct. Because your brain pays more attention when it doesn't already know what happens next. And that attention creates richer memories. Which means that, when you look back, the period can feel much more substantial. This is also why childhood seemed so ridiculously long. You weren't necessarily experiencing every minute more slowly. You were experiencing more new things. Your brain was constantly going, "Wait, what's this?" And honestly, that's probably one of the biggest differences between being a kid and being an adult. As a kid, the world is still being discovered. As an adult, you already know how most of your Tuesday is going to go. And when your brain can predict the day, it doesn't need to record every second of it. So maybe the reason life feels faster as we get older isn't because time is running away from us. Maybe it's because we are giving our brains fewer moments worth stopping for. The clock hasn't changed. We have. And maybe that's why the best way to make life feel a little longer isn't to count the hours. It's to make more moments you actually remember. Because one day, you might look back at this exact period of your life and realize it went by insanely fast. So maybe, don't let every day become just another Tuesday.